Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you Cecil Ison from the Filipinas Heritage Library to share to us the Filipinas Heritage Library Koha ILS journey.
So good afternoon. I am Cecil Ison and welcome to the Ayala Museum Philippines, the home of the Filipinas Heritage Library. So our library, FHL, is located at the 6th floor of this building. So if you have time tomorrow and on Wednesday, so feel free to visit us at the 6th floor. So by the way, I'm a librarian by profession, and I am not an IT specialist. That's why I married one, so I won't have to worry about IT stuff. So I won't be explaining or discussing the technical aspects of Koha ILS. So first, let me introduce you to the FHL. So we are a special library dedicated to collecting and preserving books and materials on the Philippines, particularly on Philippine history, art, and culture. So FHL was inaugurated in 1996, so we just celebrated our 20th anniversary last year. So this was our former home, the Nielsen Tower. Trivia, it's the first international commercial airport in the Philippines back in the 1940s. So that's just nearby. Also along Makati Avenue. But in 2013, we transferred to this building. So that's our library at the 6th floor of this building. So our vision and mission is everyone curious and thirsty for all things Filipino, and to spark and stoke interest in the visual, oral, and printed story of the Filipino. And we also aim to be a one-stop electronic research center on the Philippines. So that's why we're collecting all these materials. So Filipiniana books and materials with focus on history, art, and culture. So we have over 13,000 volumes of contemporary materials on Filipiniana. And aside from those, we have around 2,000 volumes of rare books or books printed from 1945 or earlier, rare maps, rare manuscripts. This one is from 1647, which bears the ancient Philippine script called Baybayin. And we have the presidential papers of former presidents Elpidio Quirino and Manuel Quezon. Family collection of President Quezon. And then we have over 35,000 rare photographs in our Retrato Photo Archive, and a collection of vintage Philippine musical recordings dating as early as the 1900s. So we organized these collections into various systems. So this is how it evolved through the years. So of course we used to use the card catalog. So that's way back in the as early as the 1970s, when the initial collection of the library was part of the Ayala Museum old Ayala Museum, and then we shifted to the use of Microsoft Access databases from the late 90s to the early 2000s. And then we made use of the SQL Server database. And on the side, we still had manual circulation systems. So we have paper forms where we ask the users to fill out, and then we have separate listings of our collections in Microsoft Excel files. And finally, we made the move to Koha ILS recently in 2014 through the help of our consultant here, the one who spearheaded this KohaCon conference, Mr. Eugene Espinosa. So there. Let me show you how our old databases looked like. So this one is a sample of our old MS Access database. So we had a separate database system for our map collection. So this was made by one of our previous librarians who was also IT proficient. So there's a separate database also for audiovisual collection and a separate database for our members, list of members. And then later on, we made use of the SQL server as the back end while still using MS Access for the front end. So this is where the librarians used to encode the details for the online catalog. And then it evolved to this one. So same, it's still MS Access and SQL as backend. And then there's a separate module or database system for the inventory process. And this is the more recent one. So instead of MS Access, we asked our IT department, their programmer, to create a custom program or software or database for us as front end while still using SQL Server as back end. So this one is mainly for our books and photograph collections. But as you may notice, there's a separate search. You can only search for each type of collection one at a time. So you can search across both collections. So it was later on improved to this one. But still, there's a separate search for the books and the photographs. So this is how the back end of the OPAC, which I showed you. This is the OPAC, or the Online Public Access Catalog, for the user inside the library. This is where they search for titles. And then this is the back end of that OPAC. So this is where the librarians encode all the information. And as you may notice, there are different modules for the different types of collections, or with using collections with various formats. And aside from that, we still had a few Excel files containing lists of other types of collections, mostly non-book collections. And then this is our manual system. So we still ask the user to fill out this form. So once they find a title in our OPAC, they still have to write down the title, the call number of the books they want to request, which the librarians use to locate the books from the shelves. And then the previous slides I showed you are for the users inside the library. So this time, this is the one that we use for our website. So for the users outside the library or the users using the internet. So this is our old website. This one dated 2003. So as you can see there, there's a search box where you can search our catalog. So I think we are among the first libraries in the Philippines who was able to put up an online catalog through the internet. So the previous one was our main website. This one is the OPAC page. So you can search here all fields by title, by author, or by subject. And then we also made use of the SQL web server for our Library Link website. Library Link is a project of the Filipinas Heritage Library, wherein we gather the Filipiniana databases or the catalogs of the Filipiniana collections of various libraries here in the Philippines to enable us to have one single search portal for all the Filipiniana collections of the various libraries. So this is the old Library Link website. You can search all libraries or specific libraries. So I think in 2010 or 2011, we redesigned our website. So this is how it looked like. Or this is our homepage. Actually, until now, this is our homepage, but we plan to, we are in the process of redesigning this again. So this time, we made use of a third-party plugin. So we use Joomla for this website. So we made use of the Sobi2 plugin for Joomla. So that's for our web OPAC. So it's a separate system from our in-house SQL database. And then we had separate websites for each of our special collections. So the first one was Retrato. So this is especially for our photo collection. This serves as our web OPAC also for the Retrato collection. And then in 2009, we had the HIMIG collection, the HIMIG website, the website for our collection of Philippine musical recordings. So it has different sets of data. So this is where you search for titles, and we have different fields. So our fields are different from that of the catalog for books. And then we also put up a website especially for our collection of digitized books. So FHL undertakes digitization projects. So one of our major digitization project is the digitization of our rare books. So we put them up in this site. So this is a separate site from our main website. So why did we decide to migrate to Koha ILS? So as you noticed, we have several sites or search portals for different collections. So it's not very efficient for us to search and manage our collections. So can you read that? So our first criteria for moving to Koha ILS is portability or accessibility. So meaning the ability to run in different hardware or software platforms. So Koha ILS can work in any device as long as you have a browser. So there are no hardware issues. And then it can be accessed anywhere with internet connection, unlike during our previous system wherein we use the local network or client server. So we can't access the catalog if we're not inside the office. So that's one consideration. And then the next one is integration or standardization. So since the databases are now integrated into one search portal, so there's more efficient search via a single portal versus the previous multiple databases which are unstandardized. So they have different sets of metadata. So now in Koha, it's also MARC 21 compliant, which is the international standard for libraries. And it also enables us to link easier with other libraries since it's based on the international standard. So it's easier to exchange databases or share databases. So the next one is flexibility. So unlike with our previous system, the custom program, so it's difficult to implement upgrades or to adjust the program, especially if we don't have a dedicated programmer with us. So since Koha is open source, so it's more flexible, and its source code is open to the public. So we can ask the help of experts, Koha experts in customizing the Koha ILS based on our needs. And then also in terms of maintenance or support, since Koha is a mature or robust system, there is less need for testing versus prolonged development time and testing or debugging with custom program or custom databases. So also, we make use now of a cloud server, and there's automatic backup. So there's less cost in terms of server maintenance, the physical server or hardware. And then, of course, there's the support of the active Koha community, so you can always reach out to them if you have questions or concerns regarding Koha ILS features. And then, cost. So we all know that Koha is a free open source system. The system itself, so what you need to spend on is just the upgrades in case of customization needs. So, which depends on the complexity or the degree of customization that you want for Koha ILS. So unlike with custom codes, which involves costly programming fees, so every change that you want to do with your custom program, there is a fee involved. So, and lastly, usability or performance. We know that Koha ILS is feature-rich, so it has all the features and functions that are needed by libraries, and it has improved user interface, so it keeps on being updated to keep up with the latest user interface features or demands. And then, so these are the steps that we undertook to be able to migrate to Koha ILS. So first is Koha ILS installation, which was done for us by Eugene. So we just provided him the server, the cloud server. And then we converted the data into MARC format. So we mapped the data to match our existing database fields to the standard MARC fields before importing it to Koha ILS. And we did a few customizations in the look of our OPAC, mainly on the look and feel of the OPAC, web OPAC. And then Eugene trained our staff on how to use the features and functions of Koha ILS. So just a few samples on data mapping. So on the left, you can see the old fields that we used for our Retrato Photo Archive collection. So we matched them to the corresponding or applicable MARC tags. And then we have a separate set of data for our music collection, which was not the usual fields that we use for books, because this is specially designed for music students and scholars. So we match them to corresponding or applicable MARC tags. And then for books, this is more straightforward because it's there's less customization involved. So it's almost similar to the existing fields are almost similar to the standard MARC tags. And so now we make use of Koha ILS for almost all the library systems that we do. So for circulation, we don't ask our users to fill out manual forms anymore. So we use the online system. And then we also use the same system for managing our patrons or members or library users. And then, of course, we use this for cataloging as well as acquisitions. Previously, we had a separate system for acquisitions. And then reports. Previously, we don't have a system for reports or analytics. And then we also use this under tools, the barcode module. So previously, we also used a separate system for generating barcodes. So now we only use Koha for generating barcodes. So here, the barcode module. So we use this a lot. And then, yeah, so now we can ask our users to create accounts to access the OPAC and keep a record of all their circulation history. So there's a filter for title, author, subject, the various fields, or they can search across all those fields. So they can type in any keyword and filter them based on type of item, whether books, images, or music, maps, and others. So this is our main page of our OPAC. So we are also able to post graphics or links or details about our upcoming events like this one. And they can search across all the item types available in our library. So books, music, and others. They can also search across all the collections. So whether main library holdings, our rare book collection, our map collection, etc. So we are able to include thumbnails of our photo collection. So they already get a glimpse of how the image looks like at a glance. So this is the item page for this specific photo. So there are links we can provide links to link together same items with same subjects. So, there. So this one is for books. So we are able to include here a link to the digitized copy of the book, which we upload to a third-party digital publishing platform. So this one, if you can't read it, it says read online. So if you click this, you will be redirected to the digital publishing platform where we upload our digitized books. So you can view the book online. And then we also use this for our library link project. You can search across all the collections of all libraries or a single library. And we are also able to generate user analytics through a third-party web-based app called Piwik. So at least now we get a sense of how often our users access our catalog, how many visitors we have. Yeah, so that's all. That's our Koha ILS journey. And we're still in the process of looking on how we can improve our online platforms and how we can use Koha ILS more efficiently. So there. Any questions from the audience? Our online platforms and how we can use Koha ILS more efficiently. So, yeah. Any questions from the audience? Our online platforms and how we can use Koha ILS more efficiently. So, any questions from the audience?
To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, we have Maisel Marfosca, the conference chair, and Eugene Espinosa, Koha ILS Philippines volunteer. To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, we have Maisel Marfosca, the conference chair, and Eugene Espinosa, Koha ILS Philippines volunteer. To award the certificate of appreciation and a token. So from the public library experience from the National Library of the Philippines, we went to the special library experience of the Filipinas Heritage Library, Now we embark on the academic library setting using Koha ILS through Far Eastern University. May I introduce to you Erwina Meneses from Far Eastern University, Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, Philippines, to share to us the Koha ILS journey of the Far Eastern University, Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, the first known Koha ILS RFID integration in the Philippines. To share to us the Koha ILS journey of the Far Eastern University, Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, the first known Koha ILS RFID integration in the Philippines. To share to us the Koha ILS journey of the Far Eastern University, Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, the first known Koha ILS RFID integration in the Philippines.
To all the distinguished guests and to all my KoHa participants, pleasant good afternoon to all of you. Let me start with where we came from. Okay, a short background of our institution. The FEU Institute of Medicine was founded in 1952 by Dr. Nicanor Reyes Sr. Where we came from.
It doesn't.
There.
A short background of our
Then,
institution. The FEU Institute of Medicine.
in 1971, it became a foundation and was named Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, which is known to us now as FEU NRMF. In 1999, it was transferred from Moraita to Quezon City, which is very far from Moraita now. And then recently, a tower building became operational just last year, 2016. So we have a bigger campus now. And then you'll see our library. It's named after Nicanor Reyes Jr. It's the son of Nicanor Reyes Sr. And he is very instrumental in reopening FEU in Moraita after the Japanese War. It's named after Nicanor Reyes Jr. So you'll see in the tower building now, we were given, our library was very fortunate. We were given the whole of the 14th floor. So there, we're very high on the 14th floor and half of the 12th floor of the library. Wait. We were given, our library was very fortunate. Sorry. I have to the whole of the 14th floor. So we were given the 14th floor and half of the 12th floor. And then the lower ground, which is our old library, we are still maintaining it. So which later on, we are planning to renovate it to become our library commons. So right now, the students can use it, but they use it for more of our audiovisual and discussion rooms are there. So next, with these new facilities that were given to us, our administration made us to think of how we can improve our services for our students. Okay, so my staff and I thought, where can we improve? What area can we improve at the moment? So what can we do? So we decided on on improving the information technology infrastructure of our library. So we just we have our library system already, but we thought of what else can we do. So in doing this, we have, in schools we have accreditation. So in doing this, we thought of what else can we do. We have to see and consider the needs, the demands, and expectations of, number one, our users, of course. Next, our accreditors, because we go through accreditation at least twice or thrice in a year. And then we also have to consider the library staff, our needs. So that would be the different modules in a library system. And then next is the demand from our administration. So we have to consider all those four demands. So next, first we consider the user. So what's the very demand of our users from us now? So their number one demand is to bring in their personal books. Because usually in academic libraries, you know the setup, they do not bring in their bags, they cannot bring in their personal belongings. So that's one requirement that they really asked of us. So they have to be able to bring in their personal books. So we decided to put an RFID security system. So that's where it all originated, the security system that we have to buy. And then we decided to use on RFID. Then we thought of, oops, our library system is not compatible when we use RFID. So we have to make the two marry. So we decided on changing our library system. So we looked on different library systems, but then we looked at Koha. So we see if can Koha answer our need, that demand. Yes, so Koha can answer. If we use RFID and then if we use Koha, our RFID will work with the library system. Next, next, we have to consider our accreditors. So what are the demands of our accreditors? Number one demand is for us to have our OPAC to be remotely accessed. So they have to see it online. Okay, our former the library system that we were using before does not have this capacity. So can Koha answer this need of ours? Yes. So that's another thing that's why we considered Koha. Next is again the security system. So it's also a demand from our accreditors that we have to have a security system for our library. So can Koha answer it? Yes. That's another thing that's why we considered Koha. Next is again the security system. And then for the library staff, that we have to have a security system for our library. Of course, all the modules and all the functionalities of a regular library system must be in that library system that we are going to get. For the library staff. So, of course, functions of library system must conform with librarians' needs. So does Koha answer this for us? Are all the library functionalities that we need inside a library system, is it inside Koha? Yes, it is inside Koha. Okay. And then, next, which is one of the major things that we considered when we took Koha, is the way we would be able to maintain the system. Because most of the systems that we buy, you have to have, especially when it's imported, you usually call people from other countries just to maintain your library system. So the one factor that we really look at when we buy a library system is, can we maintain it easily locally and without so much cost? Usually if it's imported, the cost of maintaining it also would be very high. Okay. So, is it manageable for us here? Yes. Why? It can be learned in-house. So if you have an IT department in your library or somebody in your staff who is techy enough to study Koha, he can study it and learn the backbones of Koha. So you can, the way, actually the way they program it, because it's really an open source, right? That's why you can study it. Or, what we did in our library is you can outsource the technical support locally. So it will not be very expensive still. And then, what we did in our library is for the, since we outsource the maintenance of our library system, here are the things that we considered. Unfortunately, I'm not like the person from TIP who married, the librarian is married to an IT person, or the one from Filipinas Heritage who is also married to an IT person. So what I did is I have to get somebody who will partner with with my library outside. I have to outside to get it from to outsource it. So these are the different qualities or things that we really look into when we got the a group who would help us in support in maintaining our library system. So first, we have to be able to migrate from our old library system to Koha, and we must be able to install Koha as smoothly as we can. Because we were given a very little time in migrating, so we are almost, the migration process was almost, we are servicing at the same time we have to migrate. So there was almost very, very limited time for us to migrate. So that group or that group of people must be able to help us migrate and install that system smoothly. Next, they have to be able to give us the proper training. And they have to be very, very patient with us. Because unfortunately, I am not the techie part of of a librarian. I'm not a techie kind of librarian. I'm more of an archivist. So that was my training on archives and records management. So the IT part would somehow kind of a bit difficult for me. Believe me, I tried to study Koha. I attended seminars, but it's just that I have my limitations. So that's why that group of people, they really have to train me and my staff very patiently. Especially with Filipinos, the term makulit, you keep on asking and asking and asking again. So they really have to be patient with us. And the next thing is that that group of people must be able to modify the library system for us according to how we need it and how we will use it. So with that group, I just say, oh, I need this, I need that, and can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Then they have to be able to deliver it to us, to the library. And next is always the support. They have to be always ready. The group that you're going to get, if you're going to outsource it, is that they have to be always ready to help you. And for us, we are very, very fortunate because sometimes it's just one phone call or even a text. I can ask this group of guys, and they are there to help us. They can answer it through email, or they can call me back, or they can just text back. This is how you will do it. So at least I'm able to troubleshoot whatever problem I have with my library system right away. Okay. Next. The administration. Most often than not, as academicians, the number one consideration of the administration is the cost. They will, most often than not, projects would be denied or declined or moved into, we'll try to do it next time around because of the cost. Okay. With Koha, of course, they can answer it because nothing beats a free library system software, right? So it's free. So when when I told it to the administration that it's free, of course, they will not say no to me. But you still, some people might ask me, but you still have, you outsourced your technical support, right? Yes, but if you're going to compute how much I'm paying for my outsourced technical support, it's still minimal and within my budget. Since I don't have an IT, our IT in the hospital, they have loads of work already, so they cannot really look after me and answer all our demands. So it's better for me to have a technical support outside. So They have loads of work already. See, with all those four concerned married already, and it's like putting up the jigsaw puzzle, and then it's all together. Then we were able to decide to really get Koha and at the same time use the RFID system in our library. So that's our very sweet and short process on how we were able to come up with a decision to use Koha and RFID in our library. Thank you very much. And at the same time use the RFID system in our library. So that's our very sweet and short process on how we were able to come up with a decision to use Koha and RFID in our library. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the floor? I hope none. No, I'm willing to answer if you have any questions. If not, then it's okay also. Okay. Are there any questions from the floor? I hope none. No, I think there's no questions, so I'm okay. If not, then it's okay also. Okay. Any questions from the floor? I hope none. Thank you. No, I think there's no questions, so I'm okay.
To award a certificate of appreciation and a token, may I call on Manuel S. Samayaw, Koha ILS Philippines volunteer, and Ms. Maisel Marifosca, conference chair. To award a certificate of appreciation and a token, may I call on Manuel S. Samayaw, Koha ILS Philippines volunteer, and Ms. Maisel Marifosca, conference chair. Award a certificate of appreciation and a token, may I call on Manuel S. Samayaw, Koha ILS. Another experience from the academic setting. Ladies and gentlemen, from Pakistan, the University of Islamabad, let's welcome Chair Afzal Khan for the Tales of Migrations Implementation of Koha Integrated Library Management Software at the University of Agriculture, Peshawar. The University of Islamabad, let's welcome Chair Afzal Khan for the Tales of Migrations Implementation of Koha Integrated Library Management Software at the University of Agriculture, Peshawar. The University of Islamabad.
In the name of
Let's welcome Chair Afzal Khan for the Tales of
in the name of God, the most
Implementation of Koha
courteous
Integrated
and the
Library
most
Management Software
merciful.
at the University of Agriculture, Peshawar.
On behalf of LIS community Pakistan, I am very much thankful to the Association of Special Library Association Palpine and Koha Integrated Library volunteers for inviting me to share my experience with the Koha community. I am very much thankful to the Association of Special Library Association Palpine and Koha Integrated Library. This is the summary of my presentation. First of all, I will share you my abstract summary of the projects. The next is the methodology which we used for the implementation of the projects, introduction, purpose and finding, and about the University of Agriculture Peshawar and the library. Installation, configuration and data migration, and the last one is little bit contribution of the open source library system in Pakistan, and the last one is finding and recommendation. Installation, configuration and data migration, and the last one is so the purpose of this presentation is to explore how I can implement, and the last one is finding the integrated library management system Koha at the Agriculture University Peshawar library. So this is a practical experience which will help the LIS community to implement Koha in their libraries. I will also share my some strategies, some plannings, how to implement Koha in your libraries through for the conversion of Venices and Magic to Koha, to suggest some strategy and solution for successful implementation of Koha in your libraries. For the conversion of Venices and Magic to Koha. Methodology. The study described my practical experience regarding the implementation of Koha open source latest version. The data was migrated from the Magic software to Koha Integrated Library Management System. The process of migration of existing data, implementation, customization of Koha, problem, and discovering their solution from various sources to share customized codes and motivate library professional to use open source library system in their libraries. This is my 23rd project which I have been implemented in Pakistan. So we have implemented in public libraries, we have implemented in academic libraries, and we have implemented in college libraries Koha. So this is my 23rd project which was successfully implemented in the Agriculture University Library, Pakistan. The library is one of the biggest libraries of the country. This will be a milestone and good symbol for the OSS community to influence librarians to learn Koha and implement in their libraries. The library is one of the biggest libraries of the country. This will be a milestone. This is little bit introduction of the university. The university was established in 1981 and what is the prime institution of the agriculture education in the country. The university have 5 main faculties, 26 departments and 3 institutions. The university offer bachelor, master, MPhil and PhD degrees and various disciplines. 25 PhD students currently enrolled and 185 high qualified foreign faculty was the member of the faculty. The university offer bachelor, master, MPhil and PhD. About the library, the library is one of the biggest library of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. It's 2-story building with equipped modern library facilities. Agriculture University Library is the center of intellectual pursuit of campus. The library provides state-of-the-art library information services. Thousands of users, faculty members, researcher, extension worker, farmers, policymaker, and general public. The library is one of the best complex in the university building and located in the center of the campus. The library has a good number of personal computer, latest books on different subjects, theses, and other information materials. The collection of the library is approximate 0.15 million. These are the pictorial pictures of the library. The top one is the picture of the library, and the next one is the center of the library. These are the inners of the libraries. These are the pictorial. So, pictures of the library. Why the Agriculture University Library needs Koha Integrated Library Management System? So they face some problems due to this. They're thinking that they were changed to Vinysis to Koha. So there were several problems faced due to existing software for routine works, the library and user-based services. Some of the major problems are lack of web-opaque, modular browser-based searching throughout the campus, lack of good configuration features to set circulation privileges of various types of user and documentation, lacking of feature flexibility related to file management, lack in user-friendly and non-standard cataloging modules, lack of feature related to barcode and user ID card management, integrated with RFID, and so on. The next step was installation and testing of Koha. The major challenges was to gain reasonable knowledge of Magic architecture, install Koha on Linux-based system. The live DVD of Koha in DSpace and Ubuntu, made by the authors and teams available online, make tasks easier. We have created a live DVD, both Koha and DSpace, which is very easier to implement Koha in your library. Just you can install the live DVD, and they will automatically build your system. Like if you want to make your server, if you want to make your PC. So the live DVD make easy the tasks for me. A testing service was made in order to test the data and other technical works in the library. Configuration and administration and management was done according to the requirement of the library. So, the live DVD make easy the tasks for me. A testing service was made in order to test the data migration. This was a trickiest jobs for me. We have converted more than 10 times the data into in Mark 21 format. But usually when we upload the testing server, we have faced some problem. While sometimes we have missing the author, sometimes we have missing the ISBN number, and sometimes we have missing other library codes. So this was the trickiest part for me, and we have successfully, after 10 to 15 times, we have converted the data. We have successfully migrated the data in final stage. So first of all, we have export all the data to Excel format. I will show you in my last presentation the technical process. We have export all the data to Excel format. Then we have converted the data to CSV format. After that, we have converted all the data to MRC, and in the last stage we have converted data to MRK format finally, and then we have import all the data through stage mar record import in the Koha option. After that, we have converted all the data to MRC and major finding. After the successful implementation of the projects, we find some major finding for the LIS community. Koha, Koha is the international library integrated system, which is all the functional and facilities available, which fulfill all the library automations and digitization process. This project also helped librarians to implement Koha in their libraries easily after the implementation. The data conversion of imaging to Koha will help other librarians implement Koha in their libraries. Integration with RFID for those who already use Koha in their library will be easy to integrate Koha with RFID. The Agriculture University Library is one of the largest library of the country, which will be a milestone for the other libraries and librarians to implement open source library system Koha in their libraries. Some implications. This practical experience will help the librarian to implement Koha in a practical way in their libraries. We have implemented Koha in Agriculture Library within 6 months and use migrated data from computerized documentation system, integrated sets of information system to Mark 21 format of books. This practical will influence librarians to learn Koha and implement in their libraries, might be able to plan a similar projects with some of the migration outsource. I will be glad to talk the libraries considering migration Koha across the country and globe. Somehow, I will share some contribution to the LIS community, which we contributed to pre-open source adoption in Pakistan. The library automation in Pakistan was started during 1980s and 90s. The international agencies, Asia Foundation and other agencies contribute a large for the automation and digitization in Pakistan. After 2008, the open source software, especially Koha and DSpace, was introduced in the market. Free open source movement is spreading slowly but steadily in Pakistan. A large number of training sessions was conducted for the LIS community to adoption the open source software in Pakistan. And now various organizations, government, public, and other libraries are trying to adopt open source system in their libraries. These are some statistical which I want to share with the community, which we contribute in Pakistan. We have conducted more than 60 plus training workshops in Pakistan for the introduction of free open source software in their libraries. From 2011 to 2017, a large number of training sessions was conducted for the LIS community. The key role was played by the Akhtar Hamid Khan Resource Center and librarian Mr. Hamidullah Khattak. He conducted more than 70 plus training workshops for the LIS community, which was a long course, 5 days extension workshop. They usually have an annual plan, and they conducted 5 days training workshop after 3 months for the librarian. So they have trained more than 900 plus librarians on the open source software. The second things was a good role was played by Higher Education Commission librarian, Director Libraries, Mr. Muhammad Javed. He also conducted a series of workshops throughout the country for the introduction of open source software in Pakistan. So we have myself, I have trained more than 654 librarians in IT staff during these training session for the LS community. We have also implemented 26 projects. 3 projects are under process and 23 are successfully implemented in Pakistan only for the Koha and DSpace software. We have also implemented in various prestigious organizations like Behre University, like SMIU, Lawrence College, Agriculture University, the University of Malakan, Pakistan Institute of Parliamentary Affairs, and that's extra. We have also, I have also received more than 5 to 10 queries daily basis, and I responded to the LIS community to resolve their queries and help them to implement Koha and DSpace and other software and libraries. I am also the country ambassador for DSpace, so a lot of queries I received on daily basis, and I also respond them to help them to resolve their issues. Koha and DSpace and other software and libraries. I am also the country ambassador for DSpace. So next things, we have also I have also created a Facebook groups for the ILS community, which name is Pakistan Koha ILS and DSpace community, which are more than 1300 plus librarians are the member of this group. So usually we discuss all the problems in these social media and Twitter and Facebook groups. This Facebook group is most common group in Pakistan. Every librarian and IT staff share their problems, and I also respond them and the queries regarding accordingly. And these social media and Twitter and Facebook. I have also made a live DVD for those librarians which doesn't know about the Linux and IT skills. Just you can put up, you can download the CD live DVD and install your system by click as you install the Office format or Windows XP like that. I have also supported more than 15 organizations to implement Koha and their libraries. So I help them for the data migration. I help them through online services, through Skype, through TeamViewer, and through other services. I help them more than 15 organizations to implement Koha in their libraries. I have also created blogs. There I can share my best experience with the LIS community. So these are the services which we provide in Pakistan for the promotion of free open source software in Pakistan. We have some plan for upcoming for the year 2018. I have planned Koha Conference, Pakistan Koha Open Source Summit 2018, which will be held in Pakistan. So we are planning to first we were planning to hold a local conference which will be called Koha Pakistan Summit 2018. These are the upcoming projects. Pakistan Ordinary Secretary and Sikaz University, which they are interested to implement Koha with us, and we will inshallah soon will implement Koha in their libraries. The data migration was done of the Pakistan Ordinary Secretary, and the next project will be done accordingly when they have called us for the meeting. So that's it. This is my presentation. If you have any question regarding my presentation, I will be happy to answer. Pakistan Ordinary Secretary, and the next project will be done accordingly when they have called us for the meeting. So that's it. This is my presentation. If you have any question regarding my presentation, any question or no question? Any question or no question? Thank you very much. Thank you.
To award a certificate of appreciation and a token, let's welcome again Ms. Marizel Marifosca and Mr. Manuel Tamayao. To award a certificate of appreciation and a token, let's welcome again Ms. Marizel Marifosca and Mr. Manuel Tamayao. To award a certificate of appreciation and a token, let's welcome again Ms. Marizel Marifosca and Mr. Manuel Tamayao. Okay. Now, you may all have your 15-minute break and please come back at 3:15 on the dot. Thank you. Now, you may all have your 15-minute break and please come back at 3:15 on the dot. Thank you. Now, you may all have your 15-minute break and please come back at 3:15 on the dot. Thank you.
Ayun, ginagalaw ko siya. Ay, gagalawin ko.
We would like to thank our sponsors and conference partners. KohaNep major sponsors, Bibe Libre, Gobi Library Solutions from EBSCO, Buy Water Solutions. Kobahagi minor sponsors, Scanbit Technology and Services, Vibal Group, OnStrike Library Solutions, Tulong Aklatan, our media sponsor, Manila Bulletin, our conference partners, Ayala Museum, Filipinas Heritage Library, Asian Institute of Management, and University of the Philippines School of Library and Information Studies. Our media sponsor, Manila Bulletin, our conference partners, Ayala Museum, the Association of Special Libraries of the Philippines currently conducts their T-shirt for sale. Proceeds shall be given to our beneficiaries, particularly our outreach activities, and we encourage your support to buy one or two shirts for you and your significant other. T-shirt for sale. Proceeds shall be given to our beneficiaries, particularly our outreach activities, and we encourage your support to buy one or two shirts for you. For the second half of our session this afternoon, we begin with the International Rice Research Institute experience from Millennium to Koha ILS and the use of Google services. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Leah de los Reyes. The International Rice Research Institute experience from Millennium to Koha ILS and the use of Google services. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Leah de los Reyes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to my fellow participants and fellow resource speakers. I'm Leah de los Reyes from the International Rice Research Institute. So I'll be telling you about our journey to, migration from Millennium to Koha. And fellow resource speakers. I'm Leah de los Reyes from the International Rice Research Institute. So, okay, the International Rice Research Institute is a rice research institution based in Los Baños, Laguna. So, if you've been in Los Baños, so this is a agricultural experiment station and so on. Our library, together with the, IRI was founded in 1960, together with the library, and then we have a total of about 200,000 total collection. Then we are a staff of 6. Actually, we were around 12 about 2-3 years ago, but then things changes, so we had to cut off on some staff. So now we're working with 6 people in the library. But then we still maintains the world's comprehensive collection of rice literature. Things changes, so we this is the breakdown of our collection. So our rice bibliography, which composed of all rice and rice-related literature, contains around, almost 290,000 rice literature. So these are articles, rice articles from journals, books, conferences, magazines, everything on rice. This is just to cater the needs of our scientists. And then our main collection contains 81,000 records. So this contains rice theses, different journals, different books related to agriculture and rice in general. And then we also maintain, aside from rice articles, IRI publications, which contains around 18,000 records. So before our migration to Koha, we used to have 3 databases actually. So first one is the Cardbox, which is a DOS-based application. So if you are an IT person here, I'm sure you have heard of this. So we started with that in the late 1980s to the early 1990s. Then we because we have to put everything online, so we invited several vendors of library systems, and one of the successful provider was, or we rather chose Innovative Interfaces Incorporated, which is an American company. So during this time, I think ERI was the pioneer, or one of the libraries in the Philippines that has a fully automated library during this time. Inupac is also text-based, but then it's fully integrated. It contains all the modules, acquisitions, cataloging, OPAC, and everything. Then Innovative has to change as well. So with the changing time, so they have upgraded Impact into Millennium. So that's why it's called Millennium. So from year 2003 up to 2015, we're using Millennium. So with the changing time, so they have upgraded Impact into Millennium. So that's why it's called Millennium. So from year 2003 up to 2015, we're using Millennium. So with the changing time, so they have upgraded. Okay. In year 2012, the library was put under the care of the IT department. During this period, we need to comply with a lot of changes, especially that, you are working with an IT head, you are working with an IT person who is into open source. So we really need to comply with that. It's not that we don't want Millennium anymore, because we've been a partner of Millennium. We've been working with Millennium for so many years already. We're happy with the application. We're very content with what we've got. We're totally satisfied. Unfortunately, because of changes in leadership, management, so it's also time for us to change. It's actually quite difficult for us, especially that, we're using this application, we're happy with that, so why change this? So, and again, there's the talk about, this is our comfort zone. We don't want to go out of this comfort zone. We're using this application. So before we have, because we are not actually pressured, but we need to comply with the demand of the management, especially our department head. So I was given, for the last, from 2012 to 2014, I really disregard the demand, I mean the pressure that, you have to change the system. And so I thought he will completely forget about it. But then come about 2014 that, he gave me the last warning, or like, I will not approve the payment of the maintenance unless you change the system. So that was the deal. And the maintenance fee that we pay Millennium or Innovative is, it's so much. We're not talking about 100,000 pesos or $1,000. It's too much actually for a small library like the ERI library. So I gave in to the demands, and then so these are the considerations that we considered before we finally decided to go out of Millennium. So number one, I gave in to the demands, and then so these are the considerations. Okay. Number one is the diminishing funds. ERI is an international organization, but then we're not a profit generating institution, so we rely on donors. Okay. Number one is the diminishing funds. We rely on donors. So if donor money is small or not enough, so a lot of activities in the institution suffers. So this is not the number one consideration. Second one is the increasing cost of our annual maintenance fee. So again, I'm not talking about 100,000 pesos here. annual. So it's too much for us. Then, because our supervisor, our department head is into open source, so we see an opportunity on the popularity of the open source software. And then we need to compare the cost and the functionality of proprietary applications against an open source application. And then do we have technical or user support locally? So that is one of the consideration as well. And then the application that we have to choose should be as user-friendly as the old system. So do we have technical or user support locally? So that is one of the okay. So we went into a selection process. So first we considered a software as a service to replace the system. We checked with a lot of a provider for SaaS. We asked for quotations. We asked for a lot of information about this. And then we thought this is not ideal for us because it will still incur money. For SaaS, so we scrap SaaS. A lot of information about this. And then we searched for two popular open source applications, library systems. And there are two names that popped out, which is the number one is Koha, and the second was Evergreen. Evergreen and Koha are both popular applications. Koha being from New Zealand, Evergreen is from the US. So we evaluated this, and then eventually we had to choose Koha among these among the three. So this is our last choice. Another challenge that we thought is quite impossible is that one does not simply migrate your files into Koha. From a very sophisticated application to an open source, we really have, having second thoughts about shifting to another application. We checked with a lot of references online, studies about what library has migrated to Koha, Millennium Libraries rather. There is only one successful migration so far. That's from the New York Public Library. So we read about the study, and then I thought of I think we can do it. Successful migration so far based on that study. So the next steps that we did was, we have to contact other Koha users in the Philippines. So I emailed Ed Quiroz for that matter and asked him about Koha, etc. Then I benchmarked with Bulacan State University. It so happened that during that time, they just recently implemented Koha. So we want to see it for ourselves how the application works for real. So we went to see the applications. And then one of my colleagues in the library saw I think there was a training advertised by On Strike Library Solutions that they are conducting Koha training. And then I asked my colleague, okay, maybe we can contact them, maybe we can ask for a training and so on. Only to find out that it's not only training that they provide, they also help with migration. And then our next step was to cancel our existing contract with Innovatives. You have to notify the vendor at least 6 months to discontinue the service. And then our next step was to cancel our contract with these are the process that we need. This is basically what we need from the provider. So complete importation of our bibliographic records. We have about 600 patron records. It's not that many. And then, yeah, we have the circulation records. We have serials holdings, which is very, very important for us. And then we have to think about the design of the OPAC and who's going to maintain the server, where it will be placed. We have serials holdings. So we met with on-strike library solutions. The only thing that I've asked them is that, can you do the migration for us? It's just a yes or no. Can you do it for us? And they said yes. And then with that, we signed up a contract with them. So, and this is the contract. So in March 2015, we signed a contract with OLS. There are 4 phases actually of the migration process. So from March to May, so we gave them an access to the old server, which is the Millennium. So complete access, just for them to harvest all the data that we have there. And then they have to do data verification. They have to export the patron records and circulation records as well. Then from May, the entire month of May, so they were able to import our catalog and patron records successfully. And then from June 2015, so there is an OPAC customization, data verification. We had a staff training during this period, and there is a live testing as well. And then we have to put the server in the cloud, in the Amazon web server, because my department head is, we don't store or house servers in the locally, so we have to put them in the cloud. And then after successfully importing, migrating everything, so we have to break the system. Breaking means, we have to check if all the items are, at least majority of the items are correct. If the mark records are looking great, if we have items that are missing, is the OPAC working? Is it fast? Do we have to optimize? How about say 3950? Is it functional and everything? So if the mark records are looking great. So in August 2015, we launched the new library catalog and website. And then it is working side by side with the old system, because I don't know, it's like, it's not that I do not trust Koha for that matter, but then I just wanted to make sure that the time that we will finally shut down the Millennium server, everything is working well. So in January 2016, after 3 months of working side by side with Koha, we finally shut down the Millennium server. But then we sometimes cheat, because even if the Millennium server is down, I can ask the people from ITS, can you turn it on for about a day? Because I like to check something from the old system. Maybe it's not here. So it works for a couple of, about another 2 months with that on and off and on and off. And then finally, I said, we won't be going anywhere if we will not shut it down permanently. So we had to shut it down permanently in around March 2016. So post-Koha implementation. So after we have successfully migrated the system, we need to make the Google authentication works without. Because we are using a Gmail application for our email. So it has to work with Millennium. At first, it didn't work at first. But then with the new upgrade, I think it was version 3.21 or over, it finally worked. And with the help, of course, of the on-strike library solutions team. It didn't work. And then we have to enable the OAI PMH server. So this is an open access initiative protocol for metadata harvesting. So our server is open. It's like you can get the metadata from our server. One of the good thing that I've noticed about this as well is that when you search on Google, search results also points to our collection, which is good for other researchers. And then, because our supervisor is an IT head, so he said, "Oh, it's too slow. The server is too slow. Your Koha server is too slow." So we had to make a way for it to be faster. So yeah, again, coordination with OLS and our IT team in ERI. So it's better now. It's maybe 99% faster than before. So it's good. And then we have to integrate it with our Google repository. So we store a lot of digital materials in Google. Actually, we have an unlimited space in Google. So we rather we store everything there. So we have to map it to the current system, and it works perfectly well now also. And then there is a continuous fine tuning of the records because we find out that from the migration period, especially in the source, the date the dates do not actually reflect on the actual date in Koha. So we have to modify them so that when you sort the search results, it will point you to the latest acquisitions. And then I still requested for another training for importing and importing of records for our staff, so that because the 2 days training that they were given initially is not enough. As you go along the way, you will realize that we still need these skills. And so again, we sought the help of on-site solutions. Because the 2 days training. So based on this journey, so we realized that it's not impossible for a library that uses the most sophisticated application to go open source. You just need to embrace a change. Like we thought that before it was impossible to do it. We just thought that it's because we are pressured by the management to do it, but no, it's not. In the long run, you will realize that accepting change is good. It's good for you. It's good for the library. And then again, any Millennium libraries can be a Koha library. So we are now a successful library. We thought it's impossible to do before, but these guys are good. So yeah. And then you have to expect a lot of metadata modification along the way. So it's not that perfect, but then when you are there, you just modify the tags every now and then, and it's okay. And then staff skills. We still have to invest on staff skills, like a lot of us in the library do not know about SQL, those stuff. So we have to be trained for that as well. Then the last one is there is a huge savings on this one, from paying this much to paying this amount. So this is a highly advantage move for us. So then the last one is there is a huge so that's all. So if you have questions, this amount. So this is a highly advantage move for us. So then the last one is there is a huge so that's all. So if you have questions. So this is a highly advantage move for us. So that's all. If you have questions. So if you don't have any questions, you can okay. Yes. if you don't have any questions, you can. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Julie from Baguio. Luckily, isa po kami sa nabigyan ng National Library ng KoHa, but we didn't start yet to run. So, kanina ma'am, you mentioned that your system became slower. So, any problem? Bakit po siya napunta sa ganong case? National Library
It's not that Koha is slow. I think
kanina ma'am, you mentioned
there is these guys did something in the server which it's very difficult for me to explain. It's IT related. Maybe you can answer it on my behalf, Jarwin. It's not Koha that has the problem because it's fast, but it's actually I don't want to compare it with the old system because well, it's proprietary. It's actually faster. But then the functionality of Millennium against Koha is there. Like the display, when you search, there are displays of books, for instance. In Millennium, you have to pay it separately. It's a separate module. While in Koha, it's built in. It's free. So stuff like that. Yeah, it's not Koha that is slow. I think the way that they have initially installed it in the server, right? But then eventually they fixed it. So stuff like that. Yeah, it's not Koha that is slow. I think the way that they have initially installed it in the server, right? But then eventually they fixed it. So stuff like that. It's not Koha that is slow. I think the way that they have initially um, installed it in the server, right? But then eventually they fixed it. Okay. So okay, thank you and thank you for listening, guys.
To award the certificate of appreciation and a token,
Thank you
again,
for
may I
listening,
call
guys.
on Ms. Maisel Marifosque to be ably assisted by, sorry, Jerwin Fernandez. To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, again, may I call on Ms. Maisel Marifosque to be ably assisted by, sorry, Jerwin Fernandez. To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, again, may I call on all the way from the Philippines, let's travel to Turkey, particularly in Devanim, to hear from Mengu Yazishoglu on the largest Koha installation experiences of the 1,126 public libraries of Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a round of applause. Hear from Mengu Yazishoglu on the largest Koha installation experiences of the 1,126 public libraries of Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be here in Philippines. It was far away from my country, 10,000 kilometers from by plane. So I'm very happy. I'm just trying to share our experiences of public libraries migration of Turkey. There is three different public libraries in Turkey. One of them is belonging to Ministry of Culture, governmental public libraries. The other ones, municipalities libraries, and the last one is private public libraries. I will try to talk about the public libraries of Ministry of Culture, I mean governmental public libraries. And the last one is private public libraries. This is the agenda. The public libraries of Ministry of Culture. I mean, government. We established the firm Devinim in 1997, and we have just opened a European office in Romania, just to be close to European customers. We are doing consulting, training, and software development. The first installations of Linux, MySQL, etc. Have been done by Devinim in Turkey. We are 10 professionals and 5 were dedicated to implement Koha-related and library-oriented projects. We have done many open source projects, and not only Koha, all library needs like DSpace, ePrints, WooFind, etc. We are also trying to create a new software related with libraries. We have done many open source projects, and not only Koha, all library needs like DSpace, ePrints. Those are some customers of Koha by Devinim. National Assembly of Turkey, it has 4 branches. Turkish-Japan Foundation, we don't know any word of Japan, but we installed the Koha because of UTF encoding system. They are using in their language. Thanks to guys who developed the Koha software. We have some universities, they are big universities, and there are some other customers, especially municipalities are growing very fast in Turkey. For example, a new customer has 12 branch libraries, and we are just trying to implement the high volume of libraries. And there are some independent users of Koha in Turkey, like Süleyman Demirel University and others. We have seen that the migration from proprietary software to Koha are growing very fast in Turkey. Like Süleyman Demirel University and others. This is the Japanese case. As you have seen, the Japanese search is available. Are growing very fast in Turkey. This is the Japanese case. As you have seen, what we have done, search is available. There was a lots of problem in the public libraries project. For example, dirty data produced in decentralized libraries. What we have done, we are talking about 1,100 libraries, and every library, for example, can do catalog by themselves before centralization process. And of course, there are some resistance without. They try to go to without trainings, so there occurred some resistance. If there were some infrastructure problems, the first projects establishment were done by Cypriot Turkish side of Cyprus. It was a far away from Ankara, so there was a problem going to project. And perception problems, how big is the project? This is the biggest project, I think, in the world. In some cases, maybe not items, but centralized libraries. It could be the biggest project. How big is the project? This is the biggest project. As you have seen, this is the old Koha. In some cases, Koha 2, maybe not items, but version 2 something. And when we have started this one, we thought that we should quickly move the newest version. I have seen in Philippines that most of you are using the old version. I really suggest as soon as possible migrate your Koha to new version. We may talk later. I've seen in Philippines that most of you are using the old version. We have done many things. First of all, maintenance of the old version, we had many problems because librarians want to apply something new, but in the old version we can't do that. So we started to migrate the new version. And we have done many change on the code. We have a centralized citizenship database in Turkey. Every person, every individual has a number of citizenship, and we integrated the Koha with this database. If you go with your ID card to any library in Turkey, you may enroll any library and you can loan the books from any library and put your books to any library in the Turkey. You earn from that library and you go to vacancy and you put your book on that library. Module for Ministry of Finance, Turkish Statistics Office, and ISBN and ISSN are were doing by Ministry of Culture. That's why they want integration with that. We all created these modules. New reports list statistics, and as I said before, book tracing module we created because the tracing of books from one public library to other, they want to see where the book is, so we created book tracing modules. We created offline circulation module, our offline circulation module written under Java. Inventory control systems, and many libraries started to use RFID. We started to integrate RFID system. The last one is the important one, the bibliographic record merge. Because of decentralized libraries, all of the libraries create a bibliographic record. For example, there were some problems. Only one book has 700 different bibliographic records. So we created a script and automatically merged the bibliographic records in the best one. So approximately please be careful, 5,500,000 bibliographic records merged automatically. As I said, wrong authorities, different bibliographic records, misspelling issues, all of them were corrected by the script. This was some example of different bibliographic records, bad bibliographic records. This is the script that we have created. And then the bibliographic records merge into one single record, and those are some libraries of this record. As you have seen, many public libraries. This is the module that we have created, book transfers module, the tracing of the books. It was in some library, and you may see book transfers module where it's going. Okay. It was some library. Of course, when you create some customized modules, you have to change everything. So we have to do all of the changes. That it says that this book is sent to library because they want to trace the books. And when they got their book, they said that, okay, we have got the book in library, and they know each other that whether the books are in the place. And when they got their book, they said this is some other scripts that we have created. This is the statistics of circulation. Since we have more than 1,000 libraries, there are some special statistics they needed, so we created some special statistics for them. Those are the books that were circulated in a period, in 1 month. So we created some special statistics. Since you have a centralized system, Minister of Culture started to, because it is a governmental institution, so the acquisition of books are being done by Minister of Culture. So when they look at the statistics, they started to decide which kind of books should be put in the libraries. So this centralized system gives some information about that. When they look at the statistics, they started to decide which kind of books should another put in the good approach of centralized system is to create a centralized cataloging center. So there is a cataloging center in Ankara for the moment. And if a local public library wants books to be to have a bibliographic record, they just put some information on it. This desirement comes to center. They quickly done the catalog and serve the book. This is the module that we have created for this purpose. This is the mine and Ministry of Finance integration, because all of the books should be kept, the information of books and the budget should be kept on Ministry of Finance. So we have created a script. It directly creates a list and they send to Ministry of Finance. Last edit, we created the last edit biblios. That's why the libraries can easily see the last edit biblios and they can add items to that biblios. Last edits, we created the last edit biblios. That's why those are the numbers. Total libraries 1,136. Circulation in 3 years approximately 18 million items. Those are the numbers. Total active users 1,800,000 people. And it grows very quickly. Some days 5,000 people is being added to system. Total bibliographic records is 5 million and total items reached to 16 million. Those numbers show that Koha can be scalable for many big libraries. I've learned that your national library have 1 million, approximately 2 million records. As you may see, we may serve the 16 million items to approximately 2 million users. In a day, I have seen in the database that 3 million select queries are coming. 16 million items to approximately 2 Those are some records that we have seen. daily circulation record. 40,000 books were circulated in a single day. Those are some records that we have. 5,400 users enrolled this system. As I said, 3 million SQLs circulated in a single day. Those are some records that we have. 5,400 users enrolled this system. The other projects were to migrate from 2 version to 3 version. It was a huge project, and I really suggest again that you should do as much as quick possible. Don't wait, because when you wait, the 16 version, 17 version are quite different than the old version. When you wait to migrate to new version, you will face a lot of problem. It is better to follow the community versions as soon as possible. We have faced with many problems while migration, so we have done a lot of tests before going live migration. Follow the community versions as soon as possible. There were 80 tables in the old version. There is more than 150 tables in the new version. So you have to change a lot of things. So I will really suggest to migrate as soon as possible. And do your tests. Check your tests very carefully. So you have to change a lot of things. This is the infrastructure that we have used for 3 years. 5 intranet web servers, Apache web service, and 4 opaque web servers. They are all clustered and virtualized servers. So if we need anything in new, so we have just created so easily. One web server for user cards, barcodes, etc. One SIP2 server, I mean RFID server, is separated from the other servers. Database servers are separated from other servers. For MariaDB clustered servers, they share the load of the system. We have just created this one. And if you need, if the users are growing so fast, you may just add another server, so you may easily scale your system. One Zebra server, this is the most problematic one. I don't like Zebra. The Elasticsearch version of is coming, so we will just move to Elasticsearch. And we have some test environments for development processes. This is the country of Turkey on the right-hand side. Every single city has Koha implementation in that case. They are not local, it is centralized, but in every small villages are using Koha for the moment. There are some buses. They put the books on the buses and go to villages, and they are connecting to Koha and do the circulation. As you have seen, this is the Turkey. They put the books on the buses. We created a smart inventory solution for Koha by cell phones. You may use your cell phones just to read the barcodes of your book, and we integrated with Koha. So smart inventory solution for Koha. When you catalog your books accordingly to our system, then it tells you that this book should be on this shelf. This is the smart inventory module. At the end, it collects all the data and sends the Koha server, and then do the inventory of the system. This is it's searching for the barcode, and it says that it is not on this shelf. It should be on that shelf. Okay. This is it's searching for the barcode. What we have faced with the while we are developing, we have faced some problems. I would like to share this one. Uh, of course, most of the libraries want some specific customization. But if you go far away from the Koha community, then it would be very hard to follow the new version. So we have to change something. So we decided to share our codes to community, and we announced that we will be a developer for the new version of 17.11, and we will try to put the new codes on the new version and then present to our customers. Otherwise, it will be very hard to follow the other things. We will try to put the new codes. Thank you very much. New version and then present to our customers. I may get your questions if you have. To follow the other things. We will try to put the new codes. Thank you very much. New version and then present to our. Any questions? I may get your questions if you have. To follow the other things. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions? I will ask then. Do you have public libraries? Is it centralized or not? Centralized? Okay. No. Okay. How many public libraries? I will ask them. Do you have public libraries? Is it centralized or not? Centralized? No. More than 500? How many public libraries? Okay. Do you know? Do you have public libraries? No. More than 500? How many public libraries? Okay.
To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, may call again Eugene Espinosa and Maisel Marifosca to award the certificate and the token. To award the certificate of appreciation and a token, may call again Eugene Espinosa and Maisel Marifosca to award the certificate and the token. Award the certificate of appreciation and a token. Now we're down to our last presentation for the first day of the 2017 International Koha Conference. All the way from the southern part of the Philippines, representing Mindanao State University, let's welcome Abubakar S. Mama to discuss the perceived impact on the adoption of Koha on the State University's library management system. A round of applause, please. All the way from the southern part of the Philippines, representing Mindanao State University, let's welcome Abubakar S. Mama to discuss the perceived impact on the adoption of Koha on the State University's library management system. A round of applause, please. All the way from the southern part of the Philippines, representing Mindanao State University, let's welcome Abubakar S. Mama to discuss the perceived impact on the adoption of Koha on the State
To the Association of Special Libraries in the Philippines, the KohaCon ILS Philippine volunteers, colleagues in the profession, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and assalamu alaikum. Earlier this morning when I arrived at the venue, the first question that was asked to me is, how is Marawi right now? Because to those of you who are not aware of the ongoing war in Marawi City, it began since I think May 23 up to today. No, but the initial information I got from the news is that little by little the government military will now take over the city, no? And this is to inform you guys that the Mindanao State University main campus is the flagship campus of all Mindanao State University campus in Mindanao. So the Mindanao State University campus, I think, 3 to 4 kilometers away from the war zone. No, so therefore, our Koha there is very safe from the airstrike. All right, so I wish to share to you some of our journey, no, because I noticed that some of the papers are about the journey of their libraries towards Koha International, Koha library system. But when I check on my files, I think I sent the wrong paper because the paper actually is my master thesis entitled the perceived impact on the adoption of KoHa in a state university library management system. So this paper is about the adoption side of the system, not the journey towards the migration of data from our old library system to the new or the KoHa integrated library system. So before I begin, no, may I acknowledge and of course say thanks to the people of the Philippine National Library here, Ma'am Marie Chris and Ma'am Anna, for helping us in the installation and implementation of our KoHa in our state university. Maraming salamat po. All right, so to start with, no, I think we are all aware that a library system is a new innovation in the library, right? No, and that a library, no, who is about to go into automation usually selects 3 types of library system. No, so I am referring to commercialized library system like your Fullet or Melissa, no, and the open source library system, KoHa is an example, and finally the in-house library system, a system that is made by one of your IT expert in your own institution. All right, so, but for the purpose of this conference, no, we will be talking about KoHa, no, because as discussed by Sir Paul, no, KoHa, the source code is open, anyone can look at it, anyone can modify it and use it for their own specific purposes. Are you with me? All right. Now, of course, I will not also discuss about the background, no, because the previous speakers already discussed this one. But what I observed, no, what we observed in our institution is that there is this difficulty in adapting the system. All right? Because some library employees are not willing to use it. Right? Do you also experience that on your own institution? They are not willing to use it. Some still prefer the traditional practice, especially when the supervisor or the library director is not really moving around. Okay? And others are not convinced by the benefits that they can get from the system, and others do not have the necessary skills, no, that necessary skills and knowledge on how to use the systems. So I am referring to some of our all these libraries in the Mindanao State University who do not have the skills to use the computers that runs the software, the KoHa integrated library system. So with that, I made a study, no, and it aims to know the adoption of the KoHa integrated library system by describing the library employees' awareness and practices towards the KoHa, and to draw some impacts in the organization and management of library resources, the improvement in the circulation services, and the reporting of library activities. Thus, this study assumes that the higher the awareness and the practice of the participants toward the KoHa integrated library system, the higher their improvements on their assigned tasks, no, such as in the areas of resource organization and management or the collection management, the improvement in circulation services, and the report generation management of the library system. All right, so with that, I come up with a problem statement. First is to know the level of awareness of the participants in relation to the different modules of the KoHa integrated library system. And then the next one is the extent, no, or the practices of the respondents of the study, the librarians, in relation to the KoHa library system. And number three is, what are the perceived impact of adopting the KoHa in those areas? Okay, in those areas, in those three areas. And finally, this is the meat loaf of the study, are the participants' level of awareness and practices on the KoHa is integrated library system significantly related to the perceived impact of adapting the system. So as you can see, the paper actually is on the adoption side, no? On the adoption side of the paper, not the system itself. Okay, so this is the conceptual framework, no? As if we are doing a lecture here about thesis. Okay, and of course, theoretical framework, no? If you are writing about innovation, no, implementation in your library, I suggest you use or read the book of Everett Rogers, no, the diffusion of innovation. And then the second theory is the scientific management theory by Frederick Taylor. So we believe that using scientific method of inquiry, we can enhance and improve the management of the library. And KoHa, as an integrated library system, is one of the system that can help us. And then finally, the expectancy theory by Victor Vroom. All right, for the methodology, this is a descriptive correlation study. No? Okay, so the intention is to determine the level of awareness of the and practices of the library employees towards the KoHa ILS. And then I used a descriptive, on the basis of problem statement number 1, 2, and 3, I used a descriptive statistics such as the frequency, mean, percentage, and standard deviation. On the basis of problem statement number 4, to measure the impact of adapting the system, I use an inferential statistic called Spearman's Rho. All right? Okay, so I selected the entire library employees, no, 121 library employees, including the janitor and the maintenance personnel. Now, those librarians or non-professional librarians who are doing library works. Now, so, a researcher-made questionnaire were used in the study. So, the questionnaire underwent a content validity by pilot testing it to the library employees, which are the official respondents of the study. So, from the pilot test, I yielded these following scores, no? Using alpha Cronbach coefficient, no? So these are the following scores. So according to Stipulopoulos, no, a measures of 0.70 on the pilot testing is reliable for research purposes. So meaning to say, all of the questions on my questionnaires are considered reliable for any purpose. All right, so let's go to the findings of the study. So the first finding, no, this is the problem statement number 1. No, this is the summary table on the level of awareness of the functionalities of KoHa integrated library system. So as we can see, no, the participants were highly aware of the functionalities of the KoHa library system, as indicated with an overall mean of 4.68. So it was on the circulation module that got the highest mean of 4.92. Okay, so this one. Because the Mindanao State University, no, in Mindanao State University we have one main library, no, and 16 college libraries. So the module of the KoHa which is highly used and utilized is the circulation module. So based on the data, they shows a high familiarity on the circulation module. Next. Okay, so this is the distribution of participants demonstration of practices relevant to the KoHa integrated library system. So this is the practices now in using the computer that runs the program. So based on the data, 57.73 or 56% of the participants shows a positive practices in using the KoHa integrated library system, while only 35 shows a moderately or interpreted as moderately high practices on the use of the or their practices towards the system. And then, okay, so this is the problem statement number 3, which shows us the perceived impact on adapting the system on these 3 areas. So the participants' perception of the adoption of the KoHa were all described as high. So meaning to say, they have perceived the KoHa or KoHa's impact on these following areas as high. No? So this result implies that the adoption of KoHa has a perceived impact in the areas of organization and management, of the library resources, this improved circulation module services, and the reporting of library activities. So they really utilize some of the module, especially in times of accreditation. Now, because using KoHa, all of the transactions were recorded, right? So whenever there is an accrediting agency wanted to get some data, so we can just generate it from the system. So that is one of the nice thing about the KoHa implementation in our university. And then finally, okay, let's go to the problem statement number 4. Okay, so this is actually the meatloaf of the study, measured by Spearman's law, inferential statistics. So according to statistical books, if you use a Spearman's law to correlate between or the variables of the study, if you get a positive numbers, meaning to say there is a strong relationship between the variables of the study. So as you can see in the scores, these are all positives. So meaning to say there is really an impact in adapting the system, the KoHa, on those 3 areas. Are you with me? Okay. So based on the data, this is just some of the recommendation I made on my paper. So first is that the university library must frequently conduct an in-house awareness program. In time we need to upgrade the system, there should be an in-house program so that all of the employees of the library who are using the system can be fully aware of the improvements of the system. And then second, an in-house training workshop, especially for those non-librarians by profession, to really be familiarized themselves with the system. And finally, a system-wide forum to discuss the possibility of adapting the system or the same library system on the other campuses of the Mindanao State University. So earlier we also discussed this one with Ma'am Pauline. We have a group in Mindanao called the Maslinet. And from there we are discussing to share our bibliographic records with each other so that our records is visible online. So whether you are in Singapore, whether you are in Malaysia, if you are studying about the indigenous groups or literature about Maranaos, in Mindanao, you do not need really to go to Mindanao. No, you can check if there are available literature on that and which of the libraries hold this literature so that you can directly go to that library. Okay. Now, um for the conclusion, the Koha ILS can transform the library in delivering and providing effective and efficient library system if it is highly utilized. Okay? Um, the said library system can offer various enhancements because of the nature of its programming codes, which are open. And it can also offer a number of benefits to the library employees, especially in the generation of various records of their activities whenever it is needed by the user community. Furthermore, the library system can also, in one way or the other, contributes in attaining the mission, vision, goals, and objective of the library to support the information needs of the community or the parent institution of the library. Okay, so here are some of the references. And then if you want to read the full text of my paper, you just type my name and then Koha. So you will see the journal form article of my paper online, because this is the second time I presented this paper in an international, what do you call this, conference. Okay, so with that, thank you very much for listening. Any question po?
Hi.
Hello.
I'm speaking actually for Filipinas Heritage Library, but Cecil is not around already. She went home. She's not around already. So, with regards to what you mentioned, the mass linet, you're trying to form a what do you call this? Cats union catalog. Is that what you're trying?
Some kind of a
Yeah.
union catalog.
And then because I work with the library of Filipinas Heritage Library,
Okay.
right? We were actually trying to contact Davao or Mindanao librarians to contribute their library Filipiniana library catalogs. So probably if you were able to gather Maslinet and their catalogs, then probably you can also contribute your Filipiniana library catalogs of Filipinas Heritage Library, which I'm currently working on their library link.
All right.
So, can we do that, sir?
Yes, no. We have here Ma'am Pauline, the former officer of the Maslinet, the Mindanao Association of State Tertiary School Library Network in Mindanao.
Yeah.
So Ma'am Pauline is a former officer of our union, and I think she already have a contact with our president. So maybe you can contact with, no.
Yeah.
So to make that plan can implemented.
Well, it's part of the deal.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Other questions po?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mrs. Paulina Baba, the librarian of Davao del Norte State College. So in Mindanao, we, in the SUCs or State University and colleges in Mindanao are forming a system called Maslinet. That is Mindanao Association of State Tertiary Schools Library Network. And our consultant is Dr. Brikshu Merced of the UP Mindanao, sir. And our former president was Ms. Dr. Anita Sornito of USM Kabakan. And now the president is from Zamboanga, Dr. Benhor. Okay. So we are looking for a system, sir, that would give us a unified or union catalog, sir. That is web-based. That is why we are here, because our system is a full-let circuit and it's not no longer a web-based, and we do not have any technical support because we have not paid already our system because naging pulubi naging ang library namin, sir. So now we are trying to attend this conference because we're planning to migrate to Koha. And then we are talking with Sir Abu Bakar this morning to possibly introduce Koha in our Maslinet library network, so that kung i-web-based na siya, kasi we are trying to have a union catalog para for resource sharing purposes. So when we go home and have our meeting this coming July 28th, so I'm going to introduce Koha, sir, in our group. And hopefully, we will be inviting experts from Koha to give us training, sir.
Yeah, can I answer that? I think Abu Bakar, you can do the initial thing for the union catalog.
Sir, sad to say, I am not a member or officer of the of our group right now.
Okay.
So I think Sir Benhur Loy ba yun? Our president right now can do the initiative, but we will inform him about the plan.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. So you can have a small start from your base, in your case Mindanao, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah.
So we'll be having our meeting, officers meeting, this coming July 28th. So I'm going to introduce it. The Koha.
That's a good thing po, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very
Because
much.
we're looking really for a system that is web-based, so that we can have sharing of our catalogs online. Parang union catalog nga, sir. For resource sharing purposes.
Yeah, that's good, ma'am. That's good.
Sir, the situation right now of the Maslinet is that among the participating libraries in Mindanao, only the Mindanao State University has the KoHa. Others are in-house, and others are, commercialized library system. So there is a need for the implementation of KoHa first in each institution, and then after that, resource sharing.
Yeah, and I hope it's in the newer version. Sorry.
Okay.
Watch out, sir. We'll be inviting you for a training in our library network soon.
It will depend po on my time. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for listening.